Welcome in, everybody, to another deep dive. I am so excited for this one. We're going to be diving into the world of dreams today.
Ooh, dreams.
Dreams.
That's a good one.
I know, right? I figured we needed like a slightly lighter topic after our last few deep dives.
Yeah, some of those have been pretty intense.
Intense is a good word for it.
Sure.
So anyway, we're going to be using excerpts from Freud's The Interpretation of Dreams.
Classic.
Right, a classic. We're also going to be looking at a chapter called The Psychology of Dream Activities.
Okay.
So those are going to be kind of our two guiding texts today.
Excellent.
And this is really your chance to really grasp Freud's ideas about dream interpretation, symbolism, and the unconscious mind.
Yeah. It's amazing how even over a century later, his work is just incredibly relevant.
Right.
It gives us a framework for understanding how our minds work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially those hidden parts we're not always aware of.
Exactly. It's that whole world of the unconscious, which is so fascinating to me. So like that's what I'm personally most excited to kind of like dig into today. So let's start unpacking this whole idea. So Freud's central idea is that dreams are wish fulfillments, right?
Right.
But those wishes aren't always straightforward, are they?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Freud believed that many of our desires, particularly those rooted in childhood or considered taboo, get repressed.
Okay.
Right. And dreams offer a way for those desires to kind of like surface,
Okay.
but in a disguised form. So, imagine you're parched and you dream of like endless glasses of water.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's like a pretty direct wish fulfillment.
Makes sense.
Right. But it gets more complex when you start considering those strange symbolic dreams that we all have.
Right, like those classic dreams of falling or teeth falling out
Or
or flying.
idea.
Like those don't exactly scream wish fulfillment to me.
I know. And yet they are.
Okay.
Right. These typical dreams, as Freud called them, are like packed with symbolism. He linked falling to a fear of losing control.
Oh, okay.
Perhaps reflecting anxieties about work or relationships or other things in your life.
Yeah.
Teeth falling out often symbolized a loss of power or even castration anxiety.
Whoa.
Which, was particularly potent in the social context of Freud's time.
I can imagine.
And then flying, that exhilarating feeling of like soaring above everything.
Yeah.
Well, that often represents a desire for freedom, escape, or even sexual longing.
Okay, this is already making me rethink my last flying dream.
Right.
But, okay, so if dreams are wish fulfillments, why are they often so bizarre and confusing? Like, it's like my mind is trying to make sure I don't understand what's going on.
That's precisely what's happening.
Really?
Yeah, Freud called this dream distortion.
Okay.
It's a defense mechanism that kind of protects our conscious mind from the raw, often unsettling truths lurking in our subconscious.
So it's like my mind is a master code maker scrambling the message so I can sleep peacefully.
Exactly.
Okay.
Right. And Freud actually outlined 4 key techniques of dream distortion.
Okay.
One is condensation.
Okay.
Where multiple thoughts or feelings are compressed into a single dream image. Think of it as, like your anxieties about work finances and that awkward encounter at the grocery store, all being blended into one strange symbolic smoothie.
I've definitely had those smoothie dreams before. What about the other techniques?
Right. Well, displacement is another key one.
Okay.
Here, the emotional intensity of a dream gets shifted from something significant to a seemingly trivial detail. So instead of directly confronting your fear of public speaking,
Yeah.
you might dream about your shoelaces being untied in front of a crowd.
Okay.
The anxiety is still there, but it's disguised, allowing you to sleep undisturbed.
Clever trick. So instead of facing our fears head on in dreams, our minds sort of sidestep them.
Exactly.
That makes a lot of sense, actually.
Okay.
What are the other two?
Well, there's representation through symbols, where everyday objects take on deeper meanings.
Oh.
For Freud, elongated objects often represented the phallus,
Okay.
while enclosures like boxes or rooms symbolize the womb.
Wow.
This highlights, how Freud, sexuality was a driving force in the unconscious mind.
Yeah, that's a whole new way of looking at everyday objects.
Right.
Okay, and the last one.
The final technique is secondary elaboration.
Okay.
This happens as you wake up and you're trying to make sense of those jumbled dream images.
Right.
And your mind kind of creates a narrative, adds logical connections that weren't originally there, further obscuring the true meaning.
So our attempts to understand our dreams can actually make them even more confusing.
In a way, yeah.
That's frustrating, but also fascinating.
Right. It's like your waking mind trying to tidy up a messy room,
Hmm.
but ending up misplacing things in the process.
Okay, before we get lost in all this distortion, can we go back to the core idea of the unconscious mind?
Yeah.
You mentioned it's this vast reservoir of hidden thoughts and feelings.
Right.
How do dreams help us tap into that?
Well, Freud believed that dreams are a window into the unconscious.
Mm.
By analyzing those dream symbols, unraveling the distortion, we can gain insights into our deepest motivations, fears, and even unresolved conflicts.
Okay.
It's like those dreams are puzzle pieces,
Okay.
and putting them together reveals a hidden picture of ourselves.
I like that metaphor. Okay, but this all seems incredibly complex.
Sure.
How can we even begin to analyze our own dreams? Do we need, like, years of therapy to decode these hidden messages?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
While therapy can be helpful, especially for deep-seated issues, you can actually start exploring your dreams on your own.
Okay.
The key is to just pay attention to those details that stand out.
Mm.
The vivid images, the strong emotions, the recurring themes. Those are your clues.
All right, I'm starting to feel like a dream detective here.
All right.
What else should I be looking for?
Well, Freud actually described this whole dream work process that explains how a dream takes shape.
Okay.
It starts with the remnants of the day.
Okay.
Those recent experiences and unresolved issues from your waking life,
Mhm.
those are like the raw materials of the dream.
So even that annoying email from my boss can end up in my dreams.
Absolutely.
Ugh.
Right? Then unconscious wishes, often stemming from childhood or repressed desires, bubble up and get mixed in.
Those pesky repressed desires always causing a stir.
Right. Even in our sleep.
Even in my sleep. Okay, so then what?
Then comes in the dream distortion we talked about, where the mind disguises the true meaning of the dream through those 4 techniques:
Right.
condensation, displacement, symbolism, and secondary elaboration.
Got it. That's where the dream gets its signature weirdness.
Right.
Okay, what happens next?
The result is what Freud called the manifest new dream content, the dream as you remember it upon waking.
Okay.
It's often bizarre and confusing, a distorted reflection of the true meaning.
So the dreams I try to make sense of each morning are just the surface level.
Exactly.
Okay.
Hidden beneath that surface is what he called the latent dream content,
Hmm.
the true meaning,
Oh, okay.
the wishes and anxieties that have been masked by the dream work.
So to truly understand our dreams, we need to dig beneath the surface and uncover that latent content.
Precisely.
Wow. This is a lot to process.
It is.
I think we need to take a break.
Okay.
We'll come back and talk about how to actually do this.
Sounds good.
And we'll dive into some of those common dream themes you mentioned.
Yeah, those universal symbols.
Right.
Looking forward to it.
All right, we'll be right back. All right, so we're back and ready to dive into some of those common dream themes you mentioned.
Yeah, those universal symbols that pop up in dreams across cultures throughout history. It's really fascinating.
Yeah, I'm really curious to hear more about that. What can we learn from those?
Well, they offer a glimpse into, like, the shared human experience.
Okay.
The anxieties and desires that kind of connect us all.
Okay.
Let's start with one we've touched on already, flying dreams.
Okay.
Those are incredibly common and often associated with feelings of freedom and exhilaration.
I love flying dreams. It's like
Yeah.
all the rules of reality are suspended and I can just like soar above anything.
And that's precisely what makes them so psychologically intriguing.
Okay.
For Freud, flying dreams often symbolized a desire for liberation, a
Okay.
yearning to break free from, like, the constraints of everyday life.
Mm.
It could be a desire for freedom from responsibility, social expectations, or even the limitations of our own bodies.
So when I'm soaring through the clouds in my dreams, I'm expressing a deep-seated longing for escape.
Potentially, yes.
But you mentioned earlier that Freud also linked flying dreams to sexual desire, right?
Yes. He saw a connection between the physical sensation of flying and the feeling of sexual excitement.
Mm.
Both involve a sense of surrender, a letting go of control, and many people report experiencing, like, a sense of exhilaration or even erotic pleasure during flying dreams.
Oh, wow. Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense. It's all about that feeling of being swept away, transcending the ordinary. But what about those less enjoyable flying dreams?
Yeah.
The ones where you struggle to stay aloft? Or you're like flying too close to obstacles?
Oh, yeah. Those dreams suggest a different kind of anxiety.
Okay.
It's not about the desire for freedom, but about the fear of losing control.
Mm.
Perhaps you're feeling overwhelmed in your waking life,
Yeah.
and that sense of being on the verge of crashing kind of reflects those anxieties.
That's a really insightful way to look at it. Okay, now let's talk about another universal theme,
Okay.
falling dreams.
Oh, yeah.
Those are always so jarring.
Yeah.
They leave me with that lingering feeling of panic even after I wake up.
And that feeling of panic is a key clue to understanding the symbolic meaning of falling dreams.
Okay.
For Freud, falling represented a loss of control, a fear of failure, or even a sense of being emotionally ungrounded.
Hmm.
It might reflect anxieties about work relationships or any situation where you feel like you're losing your footing.
So if I'm plummeting towards the earth in my dream, it could symbolize a feeling of insecurity or fear of not measuring up in my waking life.
Exactly. Or it could reflect a sense of being overwhelmed by responsibilities, a fear of letting people down.
Oh, okay.
Think about the specific details of the dream. Are you falling from a great height? Are you trying to grab onto something?
Mm.
Those details can offer further clues about the specific nature of your anxiety.
Wow. This is making me want to revisit all my past falling dreams and see if I can decipher those hidden messages. Okay. What other universal dream themes should we be aware of?
Well, teeth falling out is another incredibly common one,
Yeah.
often associated with feelings of powerlessness, vulnerability, or even a fear of aging.
Mm.
Remember, for Freud, teeth were essential tools for aggression and self-defense.
Oh, okay.
So losing them can represent a sense of being weakened or silenced.
That's interesting. I've definitely had dreams where my teeth are like crumbling or falling out. Their dreams always leave me feeling unsettled. Could they be related to like feeling voiceless in a particular situation or relationship?
It's certainly possible. Think about the context of the dream and what's happening in your waking life.
Hmm.
Are there situations where you feel unable to express yourself fully or assert your needs?
Okay.
The dream might be highlighting those feelings of powerlessness.
This is fascinating. It's like our dreams are giving us these symbolic metaphors to help us understand ourselves better.
Yeah.
Okay, what other themes did Freud identify?
Well, being naked in public is another recurring one.
Oh, yeah.
This one often taps into feelings of vulnerability, shame, or a fear of exposure.
Ah, yes. The classic naked in public dream. So embarrassing. Why am I always the only one who forgot to wear clothes?
That feeling of embarrassment is key.
Okay.
The dream is highlighting a situation where you feel exposed or judged, perhaps, for your flaws or imperfections. It could be related to a fear of being seen for who you truly are, without the masks or social facades we often wear in our waking lives.
It's like our dreams are stripping us bare, forcing us to confront those deep-seated insecurities.
Exactly.
Uh,
And that can be unsettling, but it can also be incredibly insightful. By facing those fears in our dreams, we might be better equipped to handle similar situations in our waking lives.
that makes sense. It's like a dress rehearsal for those awkward social moments.
Yeah.
Okay, now what about chase dreams?
Oh, yeah.
Those are always so heart-pumping.
Mm.
It's like being in a thriller movie.
Right?
What's the symbolism behind those?
Chase dreams are all about anxiety and avoidance.
Mm.
Freud believed they represent something we're trying to outrun, something we're afraid to confront.
So that shadowy figure chasing me through a dark forest could represent a deadline I'm avoiding, or a difficult conversation I'm putting off, or even like a part of myself I'm afraid to acknowledge.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Think about what you're running from in the dream
Okay.
and see if you can connect it to something you're avoiding in your waking life.
Hmm.
It could be a responsibility, a difficult emotion, or even a repressed desire that's trying to break through into consciousness.
So even the scariest dream monsters might just be our own anxieties or hidden desires in disguise.
Precisely. It's all about decoding the symbolic language of the unconscious mind. What appears frightening on the surface might actually represent something quite different when we explore its deeper meaning.
This is giving me a whole new perspective on my dream life. Okay, what other common themes should we be aware of?
Well, exams or tests are another common dream theme,
Oh, yeah.
even for people who haven't been in school for years.
Oh, yam dreams? Those always take me right back to those pre-test jitters, even though I hadn't taken an exam in decades.
And those feelings of anxiety are key to understanding the symbolism.
Okay.
For Freud, exam dreams often represented a fear of failure, a sense of not being good enough, or a feeling of being unprepared for life's challenges.
So if I'm struggling to answer questions or failing a test in my dream, it could be a reflection of my own self-doubt or a fear of not measuring up in my waking life.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Or it could represent a specific area where you feel inadequate or unprepared.
Hmm.
Perhaps you're starting a new job,
Hmm.
navigating a challenging relationship, or facing a major life decision. The dream might be reflecting those anxieties.
It's like our dreams are giving us these pop quizzes to assess how we're handling life's pressures. This is so insightful. What other themes did Freud explore?
Well, another fascinating area, and one that Freud is particularly known for, is the connection between dreams and sexuality.
Yeah, okay.
He saw sexuality as a powerful driving force in the unconscious mind,
Mm-hmm.
and he believed that dreams often provide a disguised outlet for repressed sexual desires and anxieties.
Okay, let's talk about sex dreams. I know this is a topic that Freud had a lot to say about.
Right?
What are some of the key insights he offered?
Well, Freud observed that many seemingly innocuous objects in dreams could have sexual connotations.
Oh.
For example, long cylindrical objects like snakes or umbrellas often symbolize the phallus,
Okay.
while enclosures like boxes or rooms could represent the womb.
So even the most everyday objects in our dreams can have hidden sexual meanings.
According to Freud, yes.
Wow.
He saw these symbols as expressions of our unconscious desires and anxieties related to sexuality, particularly potent during adolescence and young adulthood, when individuals are grappling with their emerging sexual identities.
Hmm. So my dreams might be more revealing than I realized. But what about those more explicitly sexual dreams?
Yeah.
The ones that involve actual sexual activity. How
Yeah.
did Freud interpret those?
Well, he believed that even these dreams weren't always about literal sexual desire.
Okay.
They could be symbolic representations of other non-sexual desires or anxieties.
Oh, okay.
For example, a dream about having sex with a celebrity might not be about literal lust,
Mm-hmm.
but about a desire for power, fame, or recognition.
So it's about understanding the symbolism,
Yeah.
the deeper meaning behind those seemingly straightforward sexual acts in our dreams.
Exactly. And Freud also explored the darker side of sexual dreams, those that involve taboo themes like incest or violence.
I was wondering when we'd get to those. Those dreams can be incredibly disturbing.
Yeah.
How did Freud explain them?
He argued that even the most disturbing dreams can be understood as wish fulfillments, albeit disguised and distorted.
Wait, so you're saying that even a nightmare about being attacked could be a wish fulfillment?
It is a difficult concept to grasp.
Yeah.
But remember, the unconscious mind operates by different rules than the conscious mind.
Okay.
It's not bound by the same moral or social constraints. So a dream about violence might not be a literal desire to harm someone,
Hmm.
but a symbolic representation of anger, aggression, or a need to assert power in a situation where you feel powerless.
So instead of judging those dreams as inherently bad or wrong, we should try to understand the underlying emotions or unmet needs they might be expressing.
Exactly. And when it comes to taboo subjects like incest,
Okay.
Freud believed that these dreams often reflected deep-seated anxieties and insecurities about intimacy and family relationships.
Okay.
They're not literal desires,
Mm-hmm.
but symbolic representations of our complex and often ambivalent feelings towards our parents.
This is making me rethink my entire approach to dream interpretation. It's not about taking things literally, but about delving into those deeper layers of meaning, exploring the symbolic language of the unconscious mind.
That's exactly it. And the more we learn about this language, the more skilled we become at interpreting our own dreams and gaining valuable insights into ourselves.
This has been an incredible journey so far, and I'm eager to hear your final thoughts on how we can apply all this knowledge to our lives.
I think the key takeaway is this.
Okay.
Dreams are not just random firings of neurons,
Yeah.
but meaningful expressions of our deepest selves.
Mm-hmm.
By paying attention to them, exploring their symbolism, and reflecting on their possible meanings, we can unlock a whole new level of self-awareness.
I completely agree. But before we wrap up, there's one last question I have to ask.
Okay.
You mentioned earlier that dream distortion is a way for our minds to protect us from the raw truths of the unconscious.
Right.
But what happens when those truths become too powerful to be contained?
Yeah.
What happens when those anxieties break through and start to disrupt our sleep and even our waking lives?
That's a crucial question,
Yeah.
and one that Freud grappled with extensively.
Huh.
He recognized that dreams, while often serving as a safety valve for our anxieties, could also become a source of distress, particularly when those anxieties become overwhelming.
So like a pressure cooker exploding?
Kind of.
What does that look like in the dream world?
Think of recurring nightmares, those vivid, disturbing dreams that leave you feeling shaken and anxious even after you wake up. Or those dreams that blur the lines between reality and fantasy, leaving you questioning your own sanity.
Those are definitely not the kind of dreams you want to have on repeat.
No, they're not. And Freud believed that these intense dream experiences might be a sign that the unconscious is struggling to process something significant.
Oh.
Perhaps a trauma, a deep-seated fear, or an unresolved conflict that's demanding our attention.
So those dreams are like warning signs, urging us to pay attention and address those underlying issues.
Exactly. They're a signal that something needs to be acknowledged, explored, and perhaps even healed.
Okay, that makes sense. But what can we do if our dreams start to feel more like burdens than guides?
Yeah.
If those anxieties start to spill over into our waking lives?
If you're struggling with disturbing dreams, it's always a good idea to talk to a therapist or a mental health professional.
Okay.
They can help you explore the underlying causes of those dreams and develop healthy coping mechanisms.
That's great advice. So
Yeah.
even though dreams can offer these incredible insights into our unconscious minds, sometimes we need a little extra help to navigate those murky waters.
Exactly. We don't have to journey into the depths alone.
This has been such an illuminating deep dive. I'm leaving with a whole new understanding of the power of dreams and their potential to unlock deeper levels of self-awareness. Thank you so much for being our guide on this journey.
It's been my pleasure.
Yeah.
Remember, dreams are a language waiting to be deciphered,
Mm.
a path leading to the heart of who we are.
Ooh, I like that.
Embrace the mystery and sweet dreams to all.
Wow, we've covered so much ground in this deep dive into the world of dreams.
We have.
It's clear that dreams are far more than just random mental activity.
Definitely.
From Freud's theories on symbolism and the unconscious to those universal themes that resonate across cultures, it's incredible.
It is amazing how those themes just keep popping up,
Right.
across time and cultures.
And what's so fascinating is that while dreams often draw upon our past experiences and unresolved conflicts,
Right.
they can also be incredibly forward-thinking,
Yeah.
offering glimpses into our potential futures.
That's a really interesting point.
Right.
Freud, while he was deeply focused on the influence of the past, he also acknowledged the creative and even prophetic potential of dreams.
So our dreams aren't just about replaying old tapes, but about exploring new possibilities.
Exactly. He observed that dreams could anticipate future events, not in a literal sense,
Okay.
but by symbolically representing our hopes, fears, and anxieties about what might lie ahead.
So if I'm dreaming about a job interview, it might not be a premonition that I'll be getting a new job, but a reflection of my anxieties and aspirations surrounding my career path.
That's a great example. The dream isn't predicting the future,
Okay.
but it's offering you a space to explore your feelings about work, your ambitions, and your fears of success or failure. It's a way for your unconscious mind to process those emotions and perhaps even offer some guidance.
That's so empowering. It's like
Yeah.
our dreams are giving us these sneak peeks into our potential futures, allowing us to rehearse for different possibilities and prepare ourselves emotionally.
Exactly. And remember, dreams often operate in metaphors and symbols.
Okay.
So that dream about a job interview might not be about a literal job at all. It could represent a new challenge, a creative project, or any situation where you're stepping outside your comfort zone and facing the unknown.
This is making me want to pay even closer attention to my dreams to see what insights they might hold about my own path forward.
Yeah,
But before we delve deeper into that, can we revisit the idea of dream interpretation?
of course.
You mentioned earlier that it's a very personal process.
Yes.
That there's no one-size-fits-all dictionary for dream symbols.
Right.
So how can we develop our own skills in dream interpretation?
It starts with curiosity
Okay.
and a willingness to kind of explore the depths of your own mind. Keep a dream journal, as we've discussed, and try to capture as much detail as possible. Don't censor yourself or dismiss any dream as being too silly or insignificant. Every detail can hold a potential clue.
So no dream is too weird or too random to be worth exploring.
That's right. And then as you review your dream journal, ask yourself some key questions. What were the dominant emotions in the dream? What were the most vivid images or symbols? Who else was present in the dream, and how did they interact with you?
So it's about identifying those key elements, those details that really stand out.
Exactly. And once you've identified those elements, start exploring your associations. What do those images or symbols make you think of? Do they remind you of anything or anyone from your waking life? Any particular events, relationships, or emotions? Don't be afraid to let your mind wander to make connections that might seem strange or unexpected at first.
It's like we're playing detective, piecing together clues to solve the mystery of our own dreams.
I love that analogy. And remember, there's no right or wrong answer.
Okay.
The most important thing is to be open to different interpretations, to explore the symbolism from multiple angles. What feels true to you, what resonates with your own experiences and emotions.
This is so empowering. It's like we're being given the tools to become our own dream experts, to unlock the hidden wisdom within our own
I
minds.
think that's a great way to put it.
But before we wrap up this incredible deep dive, I
Yeah.
have one final question for you.
Okay.
We've talked about the power of dreams to reveal our hidden selves, to help us process anxieties, and even to guide us towards our potential futures.
Hmm.
But what happens when those dreams turn dark?
Hmm.
When they become nightmares that haunt us even after we wake up?
Nightmares are unfortunately a common human experience.
Yeah.
And while they can be incredibly disturbing,
Mm.
Freud believed they served a vital purpose. He saw nightmares as a way for our unconscious minds to confront those fears and anxieties that we might be avoiding in our waking lives.
So even those terrifying dreams are trying to help us.
In a way, yes. Think of a nightmare as a wake-up call,
Okay.
a signal that something needs your attention.
Hmm.
Perhaps there's a situation in your life that's causing you stress or anxiety, a conflict you're avoiding, or a difficult emotion you're suppressing. The nightmare might be a way for your unconscious mind to bring that issue to the forefront, demanding that you address it.
It's like our unconscious is saying, hey, you can't keep ignoring this. It's time to face your fears.
Exactly. And while it might not feel pleasant in the moment,
Yeah.
facing those fears, even within the safe confines of a dream, can be a powerful step towards healing and growth.
So what can we do if those nightmares become persistent, if they start to affect our sleep and even spill over into our waking lives?
If you're struggling with recurring nightmares or any dream that's causing you distress, it's always a good idea to seek professional support. A therapist or a dream analyst can help you explore the underlying causes of those nightmares and develop healthy coping strategies.
That's great advice. It's a reminder that we don't have to navigate these challenging dream experiences alone.
Exactly. And remember, even though nightmares can be frightening, they often hold valuable insights into our deepest selves. By exploring those dreams with courage and curiosity, we can transform those nightmares into opportunities for healing and growth.
This has been such an illuminating exploration of the world of dreams. I'm leaving this deep dive feeling more in tune with my own dream life and more empowered to understand the messages my unconscious mind is sending me. Thank you for guiding us through this fascinating topic.
My pleasure. Remember, the world of dreams is a vast and mysterious landscape, and we've only just begun to scratch the surface. Embrace the mystery, explore your dreams with curiosity and courage, and who knows what hidden treasures you might uncover within your own mind.